hot. So they all said, no, no, no. Then they were delighted to take part in Steve's book because it gave them a chance to set the record straight. Then Mort Lindsay, who got to be a good friend of Steve's and mine and many people, called Steve a couple weeks later and he said, I just ran into Mel Torme on the beach. And he said, who is this Sanders person? Why is he writing a book about Judy's show? I wrote that book. I told that story. And Mel said, what is he going to do that I didn't do? And Mort said, I told him he's going to tell the truth.
Whoa. Well, many people say that the failure of her TV series started Judy on her personal decline. Do you agree?
I think, again, that is hindsight. I think if you look at her life the last 5 years, it was as much a roller coaster as it had ever been. But I think Judy was just winding down. I think she was so physically tired from doing everything, from having to prove herself over and over and over again. I mean, by the mid 40s, she had been working for the better part, by the mid 60s, pardon me, she'd been working for the better part of 35 years. And that's a point in your life. She was only in her early 40s. That's when people are going to retire after they've worked for 35 years. But she didn't have the funds on which to do that. And she had to work when work was not right for her, when, rest would have been better. And again, during those years, the 2 or 3 times, I'd have to stop and calculate, but the times again, as she had so often, when she tried to get off the medication, she knew that it was bad for her and wrong for her. And she didn't like being dependent on pills. At any rate, she tried less than a year before she died. She had gone to Peter Bent Brigham Hospital in Boston again and gone on a withdrawal program. She'd done it in the summer of 1965. But every time she got well, or was on the track to getting well again, she had no recourse but to jump right back into work because there was no money. And there was no money coming in from Manelli or Sid to support the kids. Liza, of course, by this point was pretty much out on her own. But still, Judy, if she didn't work, they didn't eat. When Freddie and David pretty much washed their hands of her, and she sued them and they sued her, and Sid sued them in 1966. She went back to Sid for a year and a half of management, but that's a sad thing, to have to return to Sid Luft and give him another chance to, which he did brilliantly, an 80 concert tour. And again, none of that money did she see. Most of it went to the government because Sid hadn't paid the taxes. I don't think she had a chance. I think you look at her from Baby Gum days on, because of her parents, because of the environment at MGM, because of the gentleman she trusted, because of her own physical frailties of being that vulnerable, honest, real person. She put herself into the cement mixer because it's what she was born to do. She was born to entertain, no question. She said that very, very often. But Norman Jewison, who directed some of the series shows and one of her specials, and who regards her as the greatest talent of any that he ever worked with, he said, I've never seen talent handled the way she was. It was just ridiculous that she was forced into doing the things she was forced into doing. Always,
Right.
he was told, for her own good.
Judy Garland has widely been considered to be one of